Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for April 21st, 2026. We've got Plunder Kingdom and we've got Maroon as the only trashing. Well, you can get Prize Goat, and I guess you can trash action cards with Peril, but that's not really this like thinning. And then there's Pilgrim for draw. Maroon can potentially be draw as well. The only plus actions is Taskmaster, which is potentially a little awkward. But probably workable. And then gains, buried treasure, abundance, sack of loot, and then loot from sack of loot all provide plus buy. Oh, and peril also can get you loot. And yeah, I mean, I guess Cabin Boy can also turn into other durations, of which there's actually not that many anyway. Like, if you wanted abundance or Taskmaster, you could just get it. So pretty much it would just turn into buried treasure. So probably not super relevant. Anyway, I think we're going to want to open with a Maroon. And then what? Bot has a 2/5. We could go ahead and take a Taskmaster. It's early. We're not going to be able to keep it in play consistently, but it is probably something we want in our deck more than a silver. On the other hand, it's not really helping us like hit price points, and we probably do want to be hitting 5. Like if we can get, you know, a buried treasure or 2 going, that will help us then hit 5 for other stuff. Probably it is silver first. Okay. Little unfortunate. Second Maroon is probably worth getting here in the face of Trickster. Is it worth getting right now? I'd feel better about it if we were somehow going to trigger a shuffle next turn and, you know, then be likely to have them kind of split up. It might still be the play. We've also got Rush to consider, as in we could potentially like rush a Maroon or something down the line. Though rushing Maroon in particular isn't as appealing as rushing like Trickster or even like Taskmaster. I think I'll take the second Maroon now. All right, 5. So I'm thinking we get buried treasure now, and then we aim to rush Trickster or Taskmaster, depending on how much money we have. I mean, I guess we could rush Taskmaster now. And that would make it more likely that we do at least hit 5. Not so likely that we hit 7. But then again, hitting 5 would be enough to get a buried treasure. Yeah, I think I like Rush Taskmaster. Oh wait, that's not going to stay in play. Yeah, never mind. Doesn't make sense. Okay. Alright, I'll just take a buried treasure then. And we only have 6. Damn it! What a bad draw! Ah. Do we want a sack of loot? Another buried treasure? Oh, this is a... has... We didn't draw either of the maroons. We didn't get to 7. Ugh. Ugh, ugh, ugh. And we probably do want to play with sack of loot. But do we... Is it more important to have more money for next turn? No, we're going to have that... We're going to draw maroon dead. And we can't... Like, Taskmaster's not going to help with that. If we get the buried treasure now, that's not really going to help with it either. All it would potentially do is let us rush Trickster next turn, which is not, you know, nothing, but... Gonna have... I mean, we do have 4 coppers and a silver down there. If we see Maroon Estate, we'll see at least most of that. That's 6 coins. So if we have the buried treasure, we should be able to rush Trickster. Alright. Let's go ahead and get another buried treasure then. Yeah. I think it is just rush Trickster. And probably set aside the buried treasure. There's an argument for silver. For sure. But I'm going to go with the buried treasure. Okay. Next turn would be there's the possibility to do like rush Taskmaster and buy another 5. But this turn, for this turn, dare we take a Pilgrim already? I'm gonna say yes. Alright. I'm gonna draw this Trickster dead, unfortunately. Yeah, I overestimated how much I was gonna have this turn, actually. We cannot rush Taskmaster and still... Okay, I think what we do then is we peril the Trickster, and then we rush another Trickster. Getting Taskmasters into this deck is going to be annoying. We might just have to buy one and not rush it. This seems like a good opportunity to do that. Okay. We have 11, which means we could now do the rush Taskmaster buy a 5 thing. We don't need to play Maroon to enable that, which means we could also go ahead and play the Trickster. I think I like that. Rush Taskmaster. Oh, right, I wasn't thinking about getting the coin back. So we could rush another 5. But, or we could, I don't know if it makes sense to peril a Maroon right now. We could, though. And then buy a buried treasure. If I could just rush another Taskmaster into play and still afford another 5, I would do that, but obviously we can't. I don't know, maybe, like, there's 5 curses left. We've trashed all of our estates. Maybe periling the Maroon is reasonable? Honestly, maybe what I should have done is played the Maroon and then done perilled the Trickster again and rushed another Trickster, because then that, like, even ignoring that I might have had like 1 extra coin to play with, like rush Trickster would be. I mean, I guess I could rush another Trickster now just to get another curse in. We get to hold another card across the shuffle, and then we can always peril it later or Maroon it. Yeah, that doesn't look unreasonable. Okay. We can't do rush Taskmaster and still get another 5. We could rush yet another Trickster. There's a limit to how many of those I do want. We could just get a Taskmaster and like a buried treasure. I mean, we're gonna want the Taskmasters. They got the prize goat. I mean, hanging on to this silver with another Trickster would not be bad. But I really don't need 3 Tricksters in my deck. I think I'll just do Buried Treasure Taskmaster. Okay. We could Maroon a Trickster and then rush another Trickster. That does draw a bunch of cards. I do kind of like that. Being able to set aside this sword every turn incidentally has been pretty good, especially considering, like, you know, Trickster set aside, we're like attacking that. We play Pilgrim and top deck the Maroon. I guess we probably do. Or top deck the Taskmaster. Let's say top deck the Maroon. Okay, so let's rush another Taskmaster. And another Taskmaster? Trickster. Owls are actually pretty low. Ooh, they got a hammer. I do want to trash these curses. I do also want to trash the Trickster. I'm gonna start with the Trickster. Okay, well. I wouldn't mind getting yet another Taskmaster, and I wouldn't mind adding some more Pilgrims now that we have a bunch of actions to play with. We should also think about scoring a bit. Rush Taskmaster, get us to 13, and then we could just go Province Buried Treasure, maybe. Don't get any more draw that way, but we do have like a Pilgrim and 2 Maroons. Do we have any Tricksters left? I think we have 1. Maybe we go, well, I don't know. Having the money, the buried treasure is pretty nice. I think I'll do it this way. Yeah, we do have a trickster left, okay. We have a pilgrim down here. I want to trash these curses, but keeps looking better to trash trickster. Why rush pilgrim? Okay. Yeah, I think I gotta trash the trickster. Just too much draw. So we give it, I think, yeah, okay, I think now we do similar turn, but we buy Pilgrim instead of Buried Treasure. Rush, Taskmaster, Province, Pilgrim. We're not going to trigger a shuffle from the Maroon. This is a problem. This is a problem. Guess we take a duchy. I mean, we're We're still not going to draw that well with just the 2 pilgrims, probably, but... The bot has more pilgrims, but has fewer taskmasters. So it can't play all of them. So it's not looking amazing either. I don't really want a duchy in my deck. The other thing we could do is rush Maroon. We're going to do that. Rush Maroon, we trigger a shuffle that like we get to trash a curse, we trigger a shuffle that doesn't have this province, doesn't have the province we're about to buy, doesn't have these 3 coppers. It doesn't have the maroons either, but it does have a couple pilgrims and another maroon. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Now, buried treasure province. I've been looking at maybe an estate pilot, but I don't think enough eyes for that. Oh? Okay, well, duchies might be an option. Okay, we're surely... Well, oh, that's not obvious that we want to trash the curse, because trashing buried treasure draws more cards. Yeah, I think we're just trashing buried treasure. How many buys do we have? Like, we didn't get that much loot. We might be in trouble by virtue of only having had 1 buried treasure in play. Still think it's correct to trash 1. $10, $15, $18. Did I really only get 1 loot this whole game? I think that might be the case. Which means our goal is really to triple province. Can the bot possibly come back from that? Sure. And we really didn't... Bottom deck the Maroon that could have trashed this curse, too. Yeah, we cannot, in fact, triple province. Oh, God. Yeah, this is trouble. I mean, don't know if double province is safe, but I don't know if not buying double province is safe. Like, yeah, I think we might just be losing this one. We also like all of our if we double province, all of our taskmasters are going out of play. Oh god. This is if we do we just go like province buried treasure? Hmm. Think so. What do we do with these 7 coins? We could take up like a pendant or something. We need more buys. Well, we're gonna have plenty of buys next turn, I guess. So yeah, we could take a pendant. I say plenty. It might actually not be plenty, to be honest. We have 5 buys. Like, we could take a sack of loot. That would give us another buy. Without lowering piles. Or abundance. But abundance is surely less efficient. Oh, man. We just gotta hope the bot doesn't draw too well here. Which certainly seems possible, but... Of course, I might not draw too well here either. Hammer gains estate. Can the bot just buy 5 estates? Looks like not. Duchy Pilgrim. That's a weird choice. Okay, so... Oh, we actually have the win in hand. Huh. Okay. Well then, it's fine that we don't need to trash the sword. I was wondering if we were going to have to trash the sword. Still need to trash this friggin' curse. I think there's another maroon down there that would be able to, but... Oh, we can actually triple province. Okay, yeah, that was a better turn. Well, we had more buried treasures in play. Yeah, that was too close. Yep, there's that other maroon. I should have gotten more pilgrims. I was focused on getting the actions, and I went a little too far with that. I should have, like... I mean, part of the reason I wanted to take the rest of the taskmasters was so the bot wouldn't get to have them. But probably wasn't worth it. Like, somewhere back here... Up there... Like, here it probably would have been better to go province double pilgrim, for example. Although, no, we didn't have the money for that, right? Because the taskmaster refunds a coin. Here, there was a reason I wanted buried treasure instead of pilgrim, but I don't remember what it was. It might have just been that I didn't have... Like, because I didn't have any other buried treasures in play that I was worried about not having enough buys. I don't know. It was all pretty awkward, I guess, is the issue. It would have also been nice to do like another peril or two. Just like I kept not seeing my actions clump up aside from the one time where they did, and I did peril a trickster. Which in some ways was good, like early when I didn't have the terminal space, but then later in the game when I very much did, then I wasn't seeing them, and that was sort of annoying. Yeah, I mean, I was playing with by the end I was playing with 3 maroons, and I still, hadn't really trashed like down that far. Oh, I did have oh no, that was the end. That was from the sack of loot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did win, but I don't feel great about how that played out. Um, maybe I'm kind of tempted to play this again, actually, just to see if I can get a better run of things. I do wonder, maybe starting with the Taskmaster would have been better. It's just really bad if the Maroon draws a dead. I'll take one here. And this is exactly what the Maroon would have done. We have 6. Like we could start with on a sack of loot. It's not going to do as much to help set up the rush stuff, but it is kind of early for it. I stick to the plan of buried treasure. Well, that looks like it's working out. In fact, we can do rush, taskmaster, another buried treasure. And then next turn we do rush trickster. Oh, we bottom deck the maroon. We had 8. Yeah, we didn't have enough for double rush. Not double rush. Well, yeah, we didn't have enough for rush taskmaster, rush trickster. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, well, this is playing out pretty differently anyway because the bot didn't open 5-2. So maybe that was part of the struggle. I didn't really think about that too much, but... All right, this looks like a good time to pick up a pilgrim. We've already got 2 buried treasures in play anyway. Why does it even give me a choice here? Whatever. It says you may, but like I already said that I wanted to, so Okay, rush taskmaster. One buried treasure, 1 pilgrim, I think. Bot is just not playing with Trickster here, which is going to completely change how this plays out. So, yeah. Rush, Taskmaster, 1 more Pilgrim. Apparently we didn't really need another Pilgrim. That last card is the Trickster. I would like to top deck a Pilgrim, but I would also like to play the Trickster. I think that's actually more valuable. All right. Now we should, in theory, count. So we have 14 or 15 coins. 14 should actually be good enough, right? Because we do rush Taskmaster and buy some 5s. Unless we wanted to get into a sack of loot. Well, even if we did, it would be good to get another maroon, maybe. I mean, not that the bot is, like, pushing us there, but still. Well, yeah, maybe not, since the bot doesn't have Trickster yet. Oh wait, if we want to get a sack of loot, then we should pop back the copper. Then we do sack of loot, rush, taskmaster. Oh, whoops! We didn't have that many buys. Okay, so we should in fact top deck the silver. That. Okay, never mind. Let's just do sack of loot and we didn't need the pilgrim this last turn, but well, we also are now out, like, our terminal space is full. Maybe we take another buried treasure. We're gonna get another buy from the sack of loot, and we already have, so I guess we can just take a pilgrim that we plan to top deck anyway. Hey, okay. Should get on a maroon. We might just be stopping here. Yeah, we bottom decked 3 pilgrims. Okay. Reasonable. So now I want another maroon. I'll rush another taskmaster because we know we have more terminals than we have space for. Actually, we did it twice. And we still have to buy a 5. That seems like it could be buried treasure. Sack of loot? Sure. That's pretty silly. Bot has gotten both doubloons. That does not seem like what you want. There we go. That's better. Spell scroll. Top decking that certainly could make sense. Yeah, why not? Okay. What now? Piles are getting low. Probably time to score a bit. Probably want to take one more buried treasure. Maybe just rush the last two Taskmasters and set up to win the next turn. I guess the other option would be to like rush another Trickster. Get two buried treasures in play. Yeah, I think rush another Trickster. Should probably be Sack of Loot. There's an argument for buried treasure to maroon, but Sack of Loot gives us a guaranteed buy. All right, yeah, so my conclusion here is that while I may indeed have misplayed the last time around, the biggest difference maker here is probably just that the bot had a 5-2 last time. I got to open Trickster, which, you know, it's not the most powerful opening cursor, but it's still putting curses into your deck right from the start. So that empties the curses. There's a fun thing that we can do here. Although, I guess it depends on whether we want buys or we want money. But we're gonna go ahead and maroon a buried treasure. Oh, we have a pilgrim left too. Yeah. So we could spell scroll for a sack of loot, and that gives us effectively 4 coins. Well, assuming we don't get chalice, and potentially an extra buy. Well, in addition, 2 extra buys, at least 1, potentially 2. Or we could spell scroll for a pendant, which is currently worth 6. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 25 coins. So pendant would get us to 31. We don't really need the gains, do we? So the pendant's probably just better. I mean, unfortunately, like, we're just not going to get to score that much either which way, but I guess we can pilgrim maroon onto the deck. And actions. Or is it better to just take a duchy? Well, technically the pendant is worth more. Oh, but we only have 5 buys. Oh, maybe I was wrong about the gains situation, actually. Yeah, either way, we end up with... Well, no. Yeah, because we only have 5 buys. If we had 6 buys, then taking the pendant would let us get province estate rather than double duchy after we buy 4 pilgrims. But as it is, like, we can get province or we can get double duchy. It doesn't really matter. I guess I'll take the pendant, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so yeah, that was faster and better and everything, and I think it's mostly just because of the difference in how the bot played more so. I mean, I think I probably did play it cleaner as well, but it was easier to play it cleaner because I wasn't getting cursed. So yeah, I'm not sure how much there is to learn from that, actually. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.